From having to film a fully nude scene that traumatized him, to rising to the challenge with his exceptional acting chops, here's everything we know about some of Sam Heughan's most controversial Outlander moments. Here's one moment wrote about in his memoir, Waypoints: My Scottish Journey. The actor stated that he felt betrayed by the Outlander creative team after he was pushed into shooting a full frontal nudity scene, which happened at the end of the very first season. Heughan, who's been the co-lead of the show since it premiered in 2014, was under a contractual obligation to film any and all nude scenes asked of him. But in this specific case, he just didn't think it was needed. The scene in question shows Jamie Fraser being sexually assaulted by Tobias Menzies' character, Jonathan Black-Jack Randall. And this happens when Jamie's taken in by Black-Jack, a sadistic British officer. Jamie gives in to Randall's demands so his wife Claire can be set free. And that's how he ends up being physically and sexually tortured. According to Heughan, he fully believes that the scene would have been dealt with a lot differently today. Unfortunately for him, though, back then, he had to go through with it. Here's what else he had to say about the traumatic experience. The shot was unnecessary and did betray my trust in the creative team a bit. He added that there wasn't a single point at which he felt that it was relevant to the story to include a shot like that. And honestly, I agree with him. It's a lot like that controversial sexual assault scene from 13 Reasons Why. We don't need to see horrific events like that on the screen to understand what the characters are going through, since viewers are perfectly capable of imagining it. Bringing all that graphic imagery to the screen can prove to be emotionally draining for the actors involved, even affecting actual survivors of assault. And that's exactly why Heughan didn't give in to the creative team's requests so easily. He argued that the full frontal nudity sexualized a horrific experience for his character, and that's what sparked a debate about the whole thing. Eventually, Outlander's creative team was forced to compromise, and in the end, Heughan ended up having to be fully nude after the assault. But according to the actor, they left the nudity on the cutting room floor in post-production. Despite the entire controversy, Heughan's nuanced performance in the pivotal assault scene gathered immense praise. Audiences recognized the bravery and depth he brought to Jamie's character, as well as his commitment to the show, making the impact of the assault so clear on screen. It's truly a testament to Heughan's dedication as an actor and his commitment to portraying difficult storylines with integrity. A little bit after this whole thing went down, Heughan was on the Happy Sad Confused podcast when he revealed that it was his idea to bring on intimacy coordinator Vanessa Coffey, so everyone on set could be protected, and in the future, they'd be able to explore scenes like these in a less exploitative way. Bringing Coffey on board was a great idea, because as it turned out, it was exactly what everyone on set needed to facilitate those scenes. The coordinator really helped explore the relationship between Jamie and Claire, whose physical connection is an important part of their relationship in the story. But you'd be surprised to know that Heughan wasn't actually comfortable with most of the sex scenes in the first season. In season 6 of Outlander, there's been lots of on-screen sex. So it was a revelation for most fans of the show when they found out that the heartthrob struggles with these scenes. According to the actor, those scenes are always pretty uncomfortable, and that's pretty understandable. Those kinds of scenes aren't exactly the most natural things to shoot, regardless of how great they may look on your screens. I'm not talking about the assault scene, of course. No one doubts why that would have been disturbing to shoot. But the rest of the sex scenes? Well, the actor said that he went along with everything because it was a new experience and he wasn't as sure of himself back then. He was constantly told that since it was a new show, people wanted to see more. Once it became more famous, though, less became more. Kind of like what happened with Game of Thrones. Remember how many sexually explicit scenes the first season had? They calmed down quite a bit after that. It's clearly just a tactic to get more viewers for a new show, since they're attracted to the explicitness and then stay for the story. But here's the thing, the story had its own share of controversies. Let's fast forward to season 3, episode 6 in particular, which is when we started seeing a little trouble emerge in Paradise. Sam Heughan and the creative writers of the series made their disagreement over a specific scene public, and apparently what happened was that Heughan went off script without the writers' permission, and then it wasn't just the writers who were let down by his choice. Even fans weren't too happy about it. All outsider fans were watching the show closely. To spot any deviation from the source material the show is based on, Diana Gabaldon's novels. Season 3, Episode 6 dealt with a fan-favorite passage from the books, also known as the print shop scene, where the star-crossed lovers, Jamie and Claire, who'd been separated for ages, finally reunited. This was going to be a huge moment for fans, because their favorite characters had been kept apart for so long, and everyone was super excited to see them back together on the screen, and the writers had a lot to live up to. Here's how the scene went in the book. Jamie's given a picture of his daughter, Brianna, who's an adult woman at this point, and he's understandably overwhelmed by it. In the passage, he ran his hands over the pictures with trembling fingers before breaking down. But Jamie decided to take some creative liberties with the scene and decided to act in a way more restrained manner than his character did in the book, and fans definitely noticed. I mean, it was something we'd been looking forward to for so long. They weren't happy with what they got, not at all. They took to Twitter to protest what they felt was a major departure from the book. And even though writers of the show have often talked about fans losing it over every episode because of the most minor deviations from the book, they revealed that this one wasn't their fault. The Outlander writer's account on Twitter tweeted the following: "It's our intention that all action lines are filmed. We're disappointed this one wasn't." Heughan didn't miss the tweet, and not only did he see it, but he also decided to respond to it, writing that he perceived the action lines to be guides and felt that the action of falling apart could be portrayed in more ways than one. He said that falling apart didn't have to mean tears, and that it could very well be an internal action. He explained that to him it felt more melodramatic to express the action in the way he did. Soon after, the show's writers immediately cleared the air, quote tweeting their previous tweet and explaining that they'd meant that they were disappointed about not meeting the fans' expectations, not with Sam Heughan's powerful, emotional performance. But even so, the actor wasn't ready to back down. He saw the writer's subtweet and replied with so much sass about how he believed the acting and filming process to be organic and collaborative, which meant that a few details here and there were bound to be lost along the way. And there we have it. Not exactly scandalous drama, but a very public disagreement nevertheless. As for the fans, none of the justifications were good enough for them. And they're still unhappy about how Heughan dealt with the scene and about not getting the meltdown they'd been looking forward to for so long. Again, despite all these controversies, it's important to acknowledge the actor's exceptional acting skills throughout the show, particularly during these controversial moments. Despite the emotional weight and challenging nature of these scenes, Heughan has consistently delivered powerful performances that have left audiences in awe. From the depths of despair to moments of triumph, Heughan's portrayal of Jamie Fraser has captivated viewers' hearts and minds. His ability to so perfectly navigate the complexities of trauma, resilience, and growth has solidified his status as a highly respected actor in the industry. Also, the show may not have tackled all the sensitive topics included in it perfectly, but Heughan's dedication to bringing them to life is definitely something to praise. A true testament to his talent and commitment to his craft. So there you have it, from rising to the challenge with his exceptional acting chops, to having to film a fully nude scene that traumatized him. That was everything we know about some of Sam Heughan's most controversial Outlander moments.